So good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to be talking about the My Main Street program and take you through the different data that we've been provided. So this gives us insights into the demographics of our communities and also some spending data. So this program has been implemented in Haldimand County communities through a partnership between Haldimand County and the Grand Erie Business Center. So if anyone has any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or we'll do our best to monitor the chat as well. And if we don't get to your question during the presentation, there will be lots of time at the end to ask questions. So before we get too far into it, we'll take a moment to introduce ourselves. So we are your Main Street ambassadors in Haldimand County, and we're here to provide wraparound business support to our local businesses. So some of you may get to know us very well, and some of you may see us in the community. So my name is Jessica. I have been working with Haldimand County since 2020 when I started on the digital service squad. And I also worked a little bit in our planning department. And now I'm back in economic development, working on the My Main Street program. And I'm so excited to be working with our businesses and help them understand the data we've been given. So I specifically will be working with communities or businesses in Dunnville, Hagersville, and Selkirk.
My name's Jenna. I've been working with the county since 2021. I was also part of the digital service squad. I'm really excited to get back out there and interact with our businesses and see different ways that they're looking to improve or accelerate their businesses in ways that I can help them.
Awesome. So we'll just give you a little bit of an overview of My Main Street in the program. So we are participating in what's called the Local Business Accelerator Program. So this is being delivered by EDCO, which is the Economic Developers Council of Ontario. So this was developed to support the revitalization and retail mix of Main Street communities. And through the Accelerator community, we're focusing on creating and maintaining vibrant and inclusive environments for our local residents, entrepreneurs, and businesses to assist in those economic opportunities. So as I mentioned, Jen and I are here as your ambassadors to provide wraparound support to our local businesses. And then eligible businesses through this program will also may be eligible for customized market research. So through this program, we're seeking to use data and analyze that data to better understand our local customers and understand market gaps, as well as identify opportunities. So we're going to talk a lot about the market research today. So to give you a little bit of background, this market research was collected using the concept of a 15-minute walking radius. So the goal of this program is also to be able for communities to have their needs met within walking distance areas. So this means that all of the data we've been given is all collected on households within that 15-minute walking radius. So when we do note that not everyone in Haldimand County lives within these 15-minute walking radiuses. The majority of residents still do. And then of those that live outside of those areas, we can still assume, and we think it's likely that they will still possess similar characteristics. So with this market research, we're seeking to identify those gaps in areas, like I mentioned before, to help businesses target their investments and growth opportunities. So to give a little bit of overview about Haldimand County, I know some of you, most of you are probably very familiar with it, but if you're not, we are comprised of several rural communities, but we are still within close proximity of larger cities like Hamilton and Niagara. Similar to other communities, we were hit hard by COVID-19 and saw the loss of some amazing businesses. Although with the data we've been given, we hope to draw some insights to help our businesses reconnect with those customers and potentially identify some new emerging needs that our community may face. So now to get into a little bit more of the data itself. We look at the demographics so we can understand who lives in our community and the characteristics they possess. So Haldimand County, within our 15-minute walking radius, has a population of just under 25,000 people. And we do know that there's a lot of development in our communities, so this number is still growing. And then within our communities, the median age ranged between 52 and 60. So we see Jarvis having a slightly younger median age. With the 52, we see a lot of younger new families moving into the growth in Jarvis. And then on the other end, we see Selkirk with the median age of 60, where we see more people retiring to that cottage lifestyle. And also with this slightly older median age, we've noticed, we also saw that there's a smaller proportion of those with children over 20 living at home. So seeing that and seeing that most households are either one or two people households, we hypothesize that there's a lot of empty nesters living in our communities where their children have moved away from home and are leaving the nest. We also we pulled some data from the disposable income. So across the county, the average household disposable income was just under 83,000. So this is going to be essentially your take home after taxes. And then when we look at the labor force participation as well, we see this range from 55 to 69% across our communities. And when we look at the Ontario province provincial labor force participation rate, which is around 65%, we see we're kind of straddling that average as well. So we also looked and noticed that approximately 38% of our community has a post-secondary education. Now, this may seem a little low. We do note, though, that perhaps the reason for this slightly lower rate is due to a slightly older population and some different family values. Being from rural communities, you see a lot of people taking over the family farm, so not necessarily perhaps thinking that they need to go away to post-secondary, as well as we have some lower income families as well. So there's also the possibility that they just can't afford to send their children to higher education. We also do know that there's a lot of people working in trades in the service sector. So perhaps they're leaving high school and just getting right to work rather than pursuing further education there. Then also what we found really interesting was in all of our communities, everyone seems to have a strong value for attraction to nature. So this shows that we have opportunities within the county to encourage those outdoor activities and for businesses to emphasize those values and incorporate them into their offerings and practices. So we want to understand the makeup of our community so you can understand your target customer. And maybe this will impact your marketing and your customer retention strategies. And Jenna will touch a little bit more on this later in the presentation as well. So another cool aspect of this program is we've been given a lot of spending data about how the members of our communities spend their money. So this is important for businesses so that they can understand and identify the opportunities that exist within their sectors. So when perhaps you're looking to grow your business into an area, so we can look at the various spending data and see if there is opportunity for you to target the local customer base as well. So in the graph I have in front of you right now, we see I see a lot of stuff. The bar graph shows the different spending, average household spending for all of our communities. So we see Caledonia, that light blue bar, is frequently higher than the rest of our communities. Now we note that Caledonia did, of all the communities, have slightly bigger family sizes. So the expenses of a household of 4 people are likely going to be more than a household of 2 people or 1 person. We also did see that Caledonia had higher average household income, so therefore they have more money to spend on the various categories. And then while we do see some of our communities are slightly lower income, we do look at the percent of total consumption. So while someone may not have as much money to spend on the various categories, we can look at their percentage of consumption to see where they prioritize their money and see what's important for them, which can also help to identify opportunities as well. I think it's no surprise here to see the highest spend categories being shelter, transportation, and food, as these are necessities. And then in the higher spend areas, we see your household operations, healthcare, and recreation. Now, something that we did find kind of interesting, so within household operations, we did see pet spend. So people in Haldimand County do really love their pets and did seem to have higher spending on pets as well. So perhaps there's more opportunities for our businesses to also connect to those values that our community has. And so we also looked a little more closely at the food spend here. So something that we found quite interesting was that the average county household spends around $3,500 on restaurants. So this is approximately $300 a month. So we've actually found that Haldimand County had higher than index spending on restaurants. So that basically means you're more likely to see someone in Haldimand spend more money on a restaurant than in the rest of Southern Ontario. So, and then we also looked at, so the graph in front of you shows the average household food purchases from stores. So this is the various food categories. And we did notice that the majority of food spending was on those non-alcoholic beverages and other food products. So this is like your snacks, your candy, your pops, your sugary treats as well. So there's always going to, we see there's lots of opportunity in the food realm, being one of our highest spending categories in the community. And now I'll pass it off to Jenna.
Thanks, Jess. So now I'm going to take you through some of our Prizm segments, and more so our demographics and psychographics. So through the My Main Street, we've been given these Prizm segments, which uses demographics and psychographics to identify lifestyle types. So you're going to see through here values and hobbies and all of that fun stuff. So we pulled the two most common Prizm segments that we have seen throughout the county. The first of that is happy medium. So happy medium consists of families living in outer suburbs of larger cities. The age ranges from 45 to 75 years old. What most have in common is deep roots. Of about 3/4 of residents are third plus generation Canadians. More than 80% of them own a home, and those homes are often single detached homes. And snowboarding, canoeing, rowing, RV, and motorcycling are their main hobbies. The other Prizm segment that we see is country traditions. So mostly middle-aged older couples and families. 95% of them live in a single detached house, and many own pickup trucks. Nearly 80% are third plus generation Canadians. They enjoy old-fashioned pursuits like gardening, boating, and swimming, and they prefer to identify with their local community in Canada rather than citizens of the world, so meaning that they have a very high value of national pride. So from these two segments, we can gather the type of people living within Haldimand County, how they identify with themselves and how they identify with those around them. So from here, it's a good practice to look at your ideal customer. Can you picture them in your mind? Can you see exactly what they look like, how old they are? And then do they fit into what we've seen here with these Prizm segments and demographics? And then is there a way that you can improve or adapt your business plan to encompass these people? Is there new inventory or new strategies that you can implement that will encompass these two Prizm segments that we see in Haldimand County, where there's values that might not be a part of your business plan right now, but you can add them in based on these Prizm segments. So we were also able to look at social values. So one of the things that Jess mentioned earlier is the number one value throughout the towns that we saw was attraction to nature. So the community loves being outdoors. There's higher likelihood of participation if they're able to do things outdoors and being around nature. There is also a high value on utilitarian consumerism. So this means that the consumer does not care for the look of a product as much as they do for the function of that product. Obedience to authority was another high value that the community has. So whether this is the government or any other authority figure in a person's life, so perhaps elders as well. And opportunities here to see the values that a community holds and try and encompass them, whether that be hosting an event around their values or including some sort of value into your product and service. We're also given some data here on what people are looking forward to doing post-COVID-19. So now that we're hopefully out of the depths of COVID-19, we can start getting back out there and doing some stuff. And these are what people in Haldimand County were looking forward to doing. So one of them is seeing family and friends, going to restaurants, bars, or nightclubs, and attending festivals, events, or concerts. So from this, we can see some opportunities for businesses to incorporate post-COVID-19. So have a family and friends night. So no matter what your product or service or retail is, you could offer discounts or coupons for those who shop with a family member or friend. There is post-COVID-19 marketing opportunities, such as having a end of COVID night at restaurants. And with summer seasons, now here, we're officially in summer today with summer solstice. So we can try doing events outdoor in natures. I would like to note, if you do plan on doing an event, especially on public property, just reach out to one of us at the economic development team before planning something, just so we can make sure that all the permits and licenses are in place, or if there's anything we can help you with. Shopping preferences is another thing that we were able to see. So when it comes to shopping preferences, there is an overwhelming amount of people who would prefer to shop in store rather than online in Haldimand County. So 79.5% of people prefer to shop in stores. And this comes from 88% of people don't believe that retail companies should be able to own someone's personal information. So when you do shop online, you do have to enter a lot of those personal information. So that might be why we see such a high rate of people shopping in stores, just because they have a little bit of a distrust for shopping online. However, if they do purchase online, you'll see that they're purchasing government services, travel, and event tickets. So these are really places where they don't have a physical in-store location anymore. And so people will be almost forced to buy online. So we'll see that as a higher spend online. So we can see throughout the other communities present in this county, this program, and throughout Southern Ontario, that Haldimand County does have a higher average than others when it comes to shopping in store. So that can lead to lots more people coming through your doors if you have a storefront. So just be mindful of that. Make sure you're very welcoming your storefront and encouraging people to come shop with you. We also have some information on store and brand loyalty. So in Haldimand County, there are certain things that keep a consumer loyal to stores. So 60.8% of people are looking for a convenient location. 43.2% are looking to get in and out of stores quickly. So they almost always have the products in mind that they're looking to buy, and they're going in and getting it. 69.6% of people are looking for sales and promotions while shopping. You'll see that a lot throughout Haldimand County. People love their coupons, their discounts, and their sales. So whenever you can incorporate that, you might see a little bit of increase in sales when you do that. So coupons are still being frequently used, and the majority of those coupons are actually being cut out from paper, newspapers, magazines, rather than digital coupons. So we do have some people who are still reading the newspaper and getting their flyers, and that's where they're getting their coupons are. So to gain loyal customers, you could consider implementing sales and promotions during a shopper's experience. We're also able to look a little deeper into media behavior. So we were able to see that Facebook is our highest used social media platform, with 82% of adults in Haldimand County currently on it. I would like to note before I go further on social media, this encompasses people 18 and older in that 15-minute walking distance. So Facebook is our highest used social media platform. And then on average, about 40 hours are spent a week listening to the radio. So residents listen to about 40 hours a week on the radio. And the main genres that they're listening to is country and rock genres. So there's opportunity there to maybe look at some radio ads and get your business out there on the radio. We also see that 21.6 hours a week are spent on the internet. So this is not just social media. This is all of your research, just Google searches, all of that is encompassed in that number there. And then majority of people who are on social media in Haldimand County are using it to enter contests and to get promotions and deals. So you could think about doing a social media post where they can enter a contest to receive a discount. You're getting 2 things out of 1 right there. So also make sure to post on your social media accounts when you are having sales and promotions as well. Again, we see a higher than average. However, it is still low in people reading the newspaper and collected flyers. So we do have a higher average of people reading the newspaper and collecting those printed flyers, but it is still a very low number. We're also able to see who is visiting our main streets and where they're coming from. So in 2021, there was just over 1 million visitors coming to our 6 main streets, with the majority of them coming from Hamilton, Norfolk, Burlington, and Toronto. So those who do visit Haldimand County fit into similar Prizm segments that we saw. So that would be like the happy medium and country traditions that we mentioned earlier. So those people coming here fit into those Prizm segments, or they fit into Prizm segments that value small town experiences. So in 2019, we saw our highest rate of visitors coming to our main streets. And then of course it did drop off in 2020 when we were at the height of COVID. But in 2021, with just over 1 million, we do see it rising and getting back to that number that we had in 2019. So people are starting to get back out there and they're starting to come back and visit us. So I'd just like to point out a few points that Jess and I went over today. So we have the average household spends $300 on restaurants a month. So there is that opportunity there. Restaurant spend is high, and we do have quite a few restaurants that feature family style burger joints, all of that. So there is an opportunity there for a little bit more diversified food for people to start getting out and looking at. Facebook is the most used social media platform, with people looking for contest sales and coupons. People are loyal to stores where they can get in and out of quickly and have a convenient location. And old-fashioned activities, so that's going to be your sewing, knitting, bird watching, snowboarding, swimming, all of that fun stuff are common pastimes for residents. So think about including that into your business plan as well. So that sums it up for Jess and I. We're a little bit ahead of schedule. So we do have our contact information here. So feel free to write it down, or we'll post it in the chat so you can just copy and paste it. But Jess and I are available to anybody for that wraparound business support and to share some market research that we have with you. We've also included some links here. So we have the My Main Street homepage link here, as well as all of our community profiles linked here. So all of the information we gave you today comes from our community profiles, and you can go through all of those documents if you want, if you have free time, or if you're interested at all, through those links right there. So we hope this information allows you to gain some insight into how Haldimand County consumers operate while shopping. This information is just a broad overview that we've been given. So if you are interested in scheduling a meeting with either of us, please feel free to reach out. We can pull some more in-depth data that's relevant to you and your business and your community that you're operating in. And we would be happy to help anyone with anything at all. And I guess now we'll open the floor to questions if anyone has any.
I know there was kind of a lot of information there. So if after a little while you're like, oh, I have a question about that, feel free to give us a call or send us an email, and we'd be more than happy to talk about anything we've mentioned today.
Oh, this is the study based on the past, right? Past is, yeah.
Yeah, so this data was all collected from and provided to us by Environics Analytics. So they have a variety of data sources that they use. So most of their information they update every year as well. So this will be based on 2021 numbers.
We can detect a forecast from this, right? Like going forward.
Yeah, we can use the assumption that past behaviors will dictate their future behaviors as well. As we know, humans are creatures of habit. So if you've done something in the past that way forever, then it's more likely that you'll continue that way as well.
Thank you. It's wonderful. Thank you. Very helpful.
Well, if there's no other questions, we can probably wrap up. And Jen and I can hang on the line a couple more minutes and see if anyone has any questions. But if not, we'll let you get back to your day and enjoy the weather and stay cool.
Thank you for coming, everyone.